you are the average of the five people you hang out with. If you hang out with painters, you get paint on you.
The best asset you could have are the people around you. Your wife, your kids, you can't buy that. It doesn't matter how many billions of dollars somebody has. If they don't have kids, they don't have people to follow them, what good is the money?
Hi baby, hop in the Lamborghini. I'm needy, on me only, I'm needy. Hi baby, hop in the Lamborghini.
Left for a minute, I did not sweat it. Look at the cash I'm spending. There it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Stroke of Success here. As you all know, I like to reach out special entrepreneurs, special stories. There's one individual who I'm interviewing today, Jason Cuza, who I've been following him for about 4 or 5 years. We've been DM back and forth, super humble and cool guy. And I finally got a chance to say, hey, Jay, jump on, share some of your successes, your failures with my audience. Stroke of Success is about people who have setbacks, but they don't ever give up. And Jay, welcome to the show, man.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. That was very nice. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Jason or Jay, what do you prefer?
Jay or Jason is fine, whatever you prefer.
Jay, where are you from, buddy?
I am from New York. I was born in Queens.
Okay.
I was born in Queens, and I lived there till I was in about 3rd grade, and then I moved to Mexico, and I lived in Mexico for 2 years. Yeah, I studied there, 3rd, 4th grade, went back to New York, and then made my way here, junior high.
Okay. It's Queens. What part of Queens? I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm familiar with
Summers.
Summers. Okay. How was that, man?
Man, it's definitely was a culture shock. Everywhere that I moved was completely different. So there was a very African American neighborhood where I was born in Queens. So like all my friends were African American. Everybody that I knew was African American. I didn't have any Hispanic friends, none, zero.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Mexico, and then it was all Mexicans.
That's awesome.
So I was there for 2 years, and then mixing with them, and their culture was a little different from mine, but it was a great time, and the school was really nice, and I learned a lot. They have a great culture down there, so it was just from Queens to Mexico, from the freezing cold to the desert.
Jay, are you Mexican?
No, I'm Cuban Colombian.
Okay.
Cuban Colombian.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad's Cuban and my mom's Colombian. They met in New York, and then that's where I was born. So yeah, so then when I went to Mexico, the Cubans and the Colombians, they speak a little different Spanish than the Mexicans. So I had to pick that Spanish up a little bit, So school was very tough. And then I went back to New York, and by that time we were just like, we're over New York, and we moved to Miami. We had family here. My grandmother was here, and that's it. We made it down to Miami, and we never left.
Jay, let's talk about your childhood, man. Mom and dad were rich?
No. Yeah, they were there. My dad came to this country from Cuba with nothing. My mom came with nothing, but they're both very hard workers, and my dad's very smart. He's a very smart man. So he studied and worked, and he had a great opportunity where he was working and studying with a guy that really wasn't paying attention to the business too much. He wasn't, from what I understand, I was very young at the time, but from what I understand, the guy had the company, but really my dad was the one kind of running it and doing everything there. And they sort of just partnered up to not sell the business. And he let my dad pretty much sweat equity into the company. And then my dad took it to the next level, and they did amazing. They ended up getting a lot of big contracts out in Manhattan. He was an electrical engineer. So he ended up getting a lot, but going to school and working full time during the day and then going to school at night. So he was always on the go, and that ended up doing very well for him. He did sweat equity.
What type of company was it?
Electrical engineering.
Interesting. So your dad was an engineer?
Yeah. So they did like the boxes in the buildings where you put the fuses, big ones. And that's what they would do. And they had they started getting a lot of contracts, and then a big company came and bought them out. When they saw they had all this, all these contracts, and they did very well. So he came up. That's how he came up.
Yeah. That's amazing. So you saw your dad's ambition and his work ethic at a young age.
Yeah, my dad, my mom too. My mom worked in a zipper company. So she had a job and she worked, and she raised my sisters and I, full time. And then eventually when my dad was working full time and we had, we got bigger, my mom quit where she was working and my dad kind of supported us from there on out. But it took many, many, many years till the company got sold. And then my dad's very frugal, so he saves, he doesn't spend. He reinvested his money in real estate and things like that, and in the stock market as well. So he was very smart. He was always reading books, always reading, and just being good with the money. He's always been good with money because he doesn't spend.
That's awesome.
Which for me that's what taught me, because I didn't have an allowance. I didn't have nothing. They gave me nothing. They made sure that I had school and what I needed for school, and that's it.
That's it.
School and sports. That was
it.
the only thing that they would give me, And other than that, I had to start working. I started working like at 15, so that I could buy things. I didn't have anything. So when I would go to school, I could be like embarrassed and stuff sometimes because I had all used old stuff. So very young, I was already programmed to, get a job, work, and make money so that I could pay for my own things. Because if not, I wasn't gonna have any money to go anywhere. I wasn't gonna go to the movies. I wasn't gonna go eat. I wasn't gonna go do nothing. So I had to hustle very young. They were very strict on that. They never gave money. They never did that.
What was you always? But you're in amazing shape, man. I commend you. I see you over the years, and you're still that lean, muscular guy. Like, was that instilled with you at a childhood too, like to be in shape, or that came later?
Fitness I was always into sports.
Okay.
And then from sports, as I got older, it gravitated to going to the gym,
Sure.
In high school, I really didn't go to the gym, but then as I got to like senior year and then graduating from high school, I got really into the gym because then sports were over, so it was just like, okay, that's how I'm going to keep up my physical activity. And I really liked it. And then one of the first real jobs that I had was working at the gym.
Okay.
So it was just part of we worked there. So we worked out and we worked there. So it went hand in hand and I loved it. It was a great opportunity for me. That's why I learned sales at the gym. I didn't even know what sales was when I started working there. I learned it after I got the job there in service. Then I was able to transfer over to sales, really trying to sell myself together because at that time the gym they had a lot of employees. They had a lot of workers. You can make good money at that time selling memberships, which is what they were doing. And I wanted to get into that so I could make money too, because as a service trainer, you didn't really make any money. It was like a low level job,
Yeah.
So I had to hustle my way to get a position in sales, and I finally got it. And then I worked my way up in the company and I became the general manager of the gym in a couple of years.
What year was this?
This was in, I would say like 98, 99, 2000.
Okay. That's so insane, bro. So I'll give you a quick story of mine. I came from Brooklyn. I moved to South Florida, 1999. I got a job with 24 Hour Fitness in Plantation, Florida.
They were just opening up, huh?
Yes, they bought over the Q Club and they bought two branches. I started in sales. My first sales job was that. And you're right, the trainer did okay. I mean, the people that were there for a while, they built a business, but sales membership were the thing.
Yeah.
It was the jam back then, right? I mean, people were making anywhere from 60, 70, 80 to $100,000 or more.
Yeah.
GM did really well. So, okay, so quickly, let's go back for a second. So, born in Queens, Mexico, went back to New York. Mom and dad gave it another try, and then say, nope, not working. They'll go to see grandmother in Miami.
Yeah,
exactly. What part of
exactly.
Miami did you go?
We came first to Kendall. I lived in the Kendall area. Not deep Kendall, but like Coral Way and like in that area.
Yeah.
So we came to visit her. Actually, that's where we really came. We came to visit her, and then we just ended up just staying. We never went back.
Okay.
It was like, wow, it's nice here. The weather's nice, and I think Hurricane Andrew came actually that year.
Yes, it did.
We actually rode out the hurricane here.
92, right?
Yeah.
How old were you when you moved in 92, 93?
Probably like 13, 14.
Okay.
Sixth grade. I started sixth grade here. So right there when sixth grade started, I was already going in.
Okay. You're about 45, 46. I'm
44.
44. I'm 41. So I do the math in my head. I was in second grade when Andrew happened. Man. So anyway, so you're in Miami now. Mom and dad are okay. They're up and running.
Mom and dad my dad's kind of like retired at this point because he sold the company when the offer came in. Okay. It was a really big electrical engineering company. They really wanted the contracts that they had. So it was a buyout, which is typical in the city when you have small contractors, big companies come and buy you out.
Eat you
He
up.
took the buyout. He was getting older, and then he decided, let's move to Miami, and he was just going to work from home pretty much. So that's what he
Good
did.
move. Good move. I mean, even looking back now, probably a good move for him. All
He
right.
had businesses in Mexico as well, so it was also easy for him to travel from Mexico to Miami rather than to New York.
New
Back in
York.
those days, it was a layover in Miami.
Oh,
So instead of doing it was just made more sense here,
okay.
and it worked out great. Like everybody was up, but I had to make new friends,
Yeah.
another set of friends, another move, another school. So I actually changed schools twice that year. Um,
It probably made you stronger, Jay. What do you think? Right?
I think it helps in a way because you have to adapt. But I also see the benefits of being in the same place for a long time as well because I see people who have been friends for their whole lives and they have very strong connections with those people. I have my friends that I'm very close to now, but I met them way later on down the road. So you in high school really is where you kind of feel it a little bit more than
Sure.
as you get older.
Yeah.
Because when you're coming into school, everybody has their friends from a very long time, and you're kind of just coming in and you're feeling your way around. And well, I was always active. Like I said, I always played sports in high school. I played in all the teams and all the sports, so I was always doing something. And I made friends easy. It was not a big problem, but I see
Sure.
the benefits of both. Hey, I got a lot of experience because going to those places, living in New York, Miami, and Mexico, it's two cities, two countries, and I learned a lot from those experiences. And Mexico was a nice experience because the education was really good. I got to really practice the Spanish there, learn the culture. Now I travel there all the time. So it works out great. I go there all the time. And I thought when I get stopped for the passport, I'm like, I used to live here, and they're like, oh, really? And
Yeah.
always a conversation starter.
Yeah. How were you in school?
School, I went to private school almost my whole life. Only when I came here for the sixth grade, I started in a public, but I switched over to private in half the year because my family's Catholic. So I always went to Catholic school. So it was just something that, again, like when it came down to like schooling and sports, my parents always wanted me to try to have the best opportunity. They felt like those were just, the best things for me at the time. And it worked out because the sports, I loved
Yeah.
it. It kept me active and the school was good to me because I was good in the sports. So it worked out.
Entrepreneurship. When did that fizzle in your head?
Really, I was a corporate guy,
I
I
never
worked a
knew
lot.
that.
Yeah, but the gym was Ballotol Fitness, huge Fortune 500 company. Then I went to work in mortgages for a country called Countrywide,
I didn't
and
know them.
another major company. So I was corporate. I worked pretty much 10 years back to back. Those companies never had a break. And so I was always in the corporate world. And that for me, I thought was the best. And then when the mortgages started going down, I went to go work for a friend of mine in telecommunication, and he was an entrepreneur. He owned the company, and I saw that side for the first time, and I really liked it. He was a sharp guy, and he had a nice little business, and then from there everything I ended up doing after that just ended up. I didn't stay much in the telecommunications, but that little experience for a few months, whatever I was there, opened my eyes to the entrepreneurship, and I liked it. And I had already a bad taste in my mouth with the corporate stuff because when a corporation is done with you, they're done with you.
They're done. Split you
And then
out.
you're done. And then you're done, which is what happened with me with the mortgages. It was just over from one day to the next after all the time I had invested.
Done.
And
Out the door.
yeah, out the door, like nothing. And because they wanted to make changes, I found out that they wanted to bring people down from Boston that they had their little plan that they wanted to do.
And you know what? I'll share my quick story just to relate. I had a stroke 5 years ago.
Cool.
Stroke of success, and that's why I got it from a 35. I'm marketing director company in Miami Azul. And man, like, after I got up and I went to rehab and started functioning again, I went back to my office. Hey guys, I'm ready to come to work. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm gonna let you go. The owner of the company is a good friend of mine now, but like companies don't think about your family. They don't care as much, right? It's about a number. And look, if you're an entrepreneur, you own the company, I own my company. I can see up to a certain point. But big corporations, yeah, man, I'm not, after that stroke, man, Jay, I was to my wife like, babe, just do real estate. You're good. Just make it happen.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship was my thing and never looked back. And I think this is my viewers and listeners listening to this. It's okay. Now, corporate jobs are good. Some people they thrive in it, and when I call those people entrepreneur is someone who works for a corporation, treats it like their own, and successful. But some people have an itch to say, you know what, I want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fears and a lot of people holding them back. But my recommendation, I'm sure Jay would agree with me, look into it, do the research, make small steps, save, invest your money, and because one life to live. Jay, corporate countrywide, I'm familiar with a loan officer back in the day, man. They were a huge lender. I know when the bubble popped in 2008, 2007, countrywide went down. A lot of the subprime mortgages companies went down. Okay, so we're about what, 2010 right now, 2011 in timeline. Okay.
2000 and I left the mortgage, I think, around 2007.
Okay, right before
it. Yeah, that's when I went to the telecommunications. Things were already starting to go down.
Yeah.
It was happening very fast at this point. So it kind of worked out for me because I was able to jump on the opportunities that came after that because of the timing. I don't know if I would have been able to be where I'm at today if it didn't work out that way, because maybe the doors would have been closed,
I agree with you.
But the corporate stuff was good because I got a lot of training there. So what I tell people when it comes to that experience, I said, man, I got a lot of training. I didn't go to college. College wasn't for me. I started my first semester and I realized after a few weeks that it just wasn't for me. So I left. But the training that I got there, I took it very, very serious. Like Bally's had a very serious training program. The managers and the GMs and the area supervisors were always training. Countrywide, same thing. They had a lot of training. So those training sessions were like college for me. I learned a lot there, and I would follow everything to the T. So it helped me and it gave me a lot of knowledge and structure and stuff like that I take on to the real world, which maybe if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't have been as structured or maybe not as good. I didn't know what sales was. I didn't know what sales was. I didn't even know what a mortgage was when I went to go work at Countrywide. I even said that in the interview. They're like, "Oh, do you know what a mortgage is?" I'm like, "I have no idea what a mortgage is." But if you train me,
I'll do it.
I can sell it. Here's my W-2s. Here are my pay stubs. I'm at the gym right now. I sell memberships. This is what I make off that. Yeah. Show me the mortgages, and I will do it. And there was a little learning curve there, but eventually I got it right, and with the right training.
Bally Fitness, I interviewed with them a few times. They were trying to recruit me a few times. Their system was like no other. Patrick David, entrepreneur, you probably heard of him. He talked about it all the time. Like Bally was on the top. The leadership changed. They didn't focus on the changes, and they went down. But this training system was amazing.
LA Fitness took them out.
Yes, LA Fitness took them out, right?
As soon as LA Fitness opened up, it was already. I could see the writing on the wall. And between the no contracts and the basketball courts and the racquetball courts, people were always talking about, Bally's didn't stand a chance. It went like dead overnight. Like as soon as LA Fitness opened, like we lost like half our members right away. And it was no contract, racquetball and basketball included, and that got a lot of people's attention. And it was the new thing. It was huge. So everybody left to go to them, and then they were on the downfall at that point, and they never recovered. So I think LA Fitness ended up buying them out.
I think so. Let's talk about that for a second, Jamie. Ask me, pick your brain. What do you think about people like adaptation? You have to adapt the trend, right? I mean, you're a marketing, branding, sales guy, right? Entrepreneur. How important do you think that is?
To adapt?
Yeah, for companies.
You have to always be willing to adapt. I was talking about this with somebody the other day. So it's so funny that you brought it up, because I don't think anything that I've ever started finished the same way. Everything is changed, and if you can't move with the changes and roll with the punches, you're gonna maybe get stuck or maybe discouraged too, because sometimes you have this plan. People might have a plan, and if the plan doesn't work out that way, they may feel like, oh, there was a waste of time, But if they adapted or change things up or are willing to just learn, you know, they can reach success. I'm sure a lot of companies go through that, where they start with one idea and then they end up with something else. You know, you never know. So adapting is
And be
very important.
open-minded, right? You have to be open-minded and be able to look at your company, your corporation, and say, hey, this is our weaknesses. This is where the competition's coming. How can we adapt and change? Like, Netflix made an offer to Blockbuster, some sort, and they
Yeah,
said,
they try to buy them out.
and
Yeah,
they say, no, we got this. You guys don't know what you're doing.
we didn't. They turned it down, and
History,
now look at them now.
look at them now. And
Yeah, no,
Blockbuster was a chain, a giant. Me and you are the same age. They were a giant at our time.
I try to keep a lot of young people around me,
Yes.
you know, because I feel like the younger generations, they're gonna pick up things that are more trending out there, you know. So I try
100%.
to keep them close so that I can learn and just pick their brains and see what they got going on. Like I have like the guys that work for me are all pretty young, and then I have like friends of mine that are young, like in their 20s, and I'm always picking their brain and I'm seeing what and I see them at, so I've seen them mature and advance in a different way than when I was in my 20s. You know, everything with the technology right now, and it's different. They're not the same. I think you can probably agree with me. I don't
I
know if you're
agree with you
in their
100%.
20s, but they're
Different
not
times.
everywhere. They're not working at the gym and selling memberships and
No,
things like
no,
that. You know,
100%.
that hustle's gone. They got other
Yes,
stuff that they want to do,
yes,
like TikToks and this,
yes.
you know. So I try to stay close to see what is the new, you know, trending thing that's out there so that I don't fall behind, you know.
I agree. By the way, for the record, people, Jay is not old, young. We're all young. Jay, 40 is a new 30, Jay. Let's be honest, man.
Good.
My buddy looks like he's 21 over there, bro. I see those guns, man. Looking good, bro. Shout out to Jay, man. Good work.
Hey,
You
we
have a
gotta
son,
go to the
right?
gym. Come work out whenever you want. I'm
I
there every
will.
day. Let
You
me
got
know.
it. I definitely will. You have a son, right?
I have a son. He's graduating. He's going to college right now.
Look at that. You have a son who
What
can
about you?
keep you young too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
He's on his own thing. He has his own life and his own
yes.
ideas. So
Okay.
he's mature, you know, and my family's very independent. We were all raised like at 17,
Yeah.
18, ready to be independent, you know. So it just runs in my family. Everybody just, I said, my sisters were gone at 17. I was gone at 17, 18. As soon as I graduated high school, I was out the door. And he's pretty independent as well.
Good, man. Good to know that. That's awesome. I see you on social media. You're a good dad, man. Going back, so we're in 2010. So what was the next step after Countrywide?
Countrywide was done, and that's when I went to go work for my friend at the telecommunications. So he
Okay.
had a nice business because the real estate was still doing a lot of construction at the time, and he did cabling. So anything that was like low voltage. So I never worked with my hands in my life. Never been handy, and never been I'm not a handy guy. So this was the first time I was gonna get a job where I was actually gonna have to like really use my hands and like go to construction sites and stuff like that, which I had never done. So since I didn't know the business, I had to start from the ground up because he wanted me to manage the company. But in order to manage the company, I had to know what the guys were doing. And the only way to do that was to get dirty and get down there and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. I would go down to the sites at 5 in the morning, we'd pull cables. But then as the real estate started to slow down, then everything started to slow. So his project started to slow down. There wasn't as much demand for like the camera systems and the access control and wiring. Almost all the projects were already complete already. So at that point, things were getting slow, and I could see that wasn't gonna be a long-term thing. And I really didn't like it. I didn't like the working with my hands, the being at a job site at 5 in the morning. Those were just not my things, you know. So I ended up working, washing cars for a friend of mine at a car rental business, and I was just doing that on the weekends just to try to earn a little extra money, and because he didn't have any money to pay me. But I figured if I was just there, regardless, I wasn't going to be doing anything else. I had the time, just go there and wash cars and talk to customers and see where that would go, you know? And then I ended up just sticking to that for a while. So that was one of the, like, that was really like my launch to entrepreneurship, where I would just, like, at that point, now I'm really just working for myself, you know? I'm only going to produce what I produce. There's no safety net. There's no
Nothing.
corporation, there's nothing. But I was willing to make the sacrifice and go in there and work for free, you know.
What happened after that?
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to do that. You know, a lot of people, if they're not getting paid, they don't think that there's value. You know, and there's value in experience.
Yes, I agree with you. What happened after that?
After that, I just grew my business, and since I had accumulated so many years of like sales and marketing and strategies, that's really when I started like picking up other clients, looking into other businesses, dabbling still in real estate a little bit.
So
And
what? Let's clarify. What business was it? What business is it? What do
oh,
you
the
guys
car
do?
rental.
Car rental. That's where it started.
That was where I
Right?
started. Yeah.
You're
And then from
washing
there, the
cars.
sales and marketing, I did the nail salons, you
Okay.
know,
So
invested
slow
into
down a second. Let's go back to car. So you wash your friend's cars, rental place, and the idea probably started to brew in your head, entrepreneur, and said, "Wait a minute, let me do car rentals now."
started doing the car rental. Yep.
What year
And
is this?
I was still working out. So
Oh,
as I was still working out in the car rentals, also getting involved into fitness was
okay.
was an option that I had because I was really close with the owner of the gym that I trained at, and he gave me a good opportunity to invest into the business so we can do franchises. And since I had experience from working at Bally's, it was a great fit for me. So I took my skills and to the gym and started helping with that as well, growing the franchises and growing the brand. And they're doing very well right now. I'm not part of the company anymore, but they're doing very well right now. They have a bunch of locations. They're very popular.
What's the name of the company? If you don't mind sharing.
Legacy Fit.
Legacy Fitness. Okay, so you said so from car washing people's cars, you're down on your luck, right? This is like like
Oh yeah,
right,
down. Homeless,
right. This is like homeless, is it?
homeless.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's go
That
back
time,
there for a second.
yeah, I was getting evicted from my apartment. I didn't have any money.
How old were you, man, Jay?
At this time, I was probably like 26, 27.
You didn't call dad?
My family doesn't roll like that, you know. I just adapt, like we talked about. I just for lunch I was eating spaghettis, you know, out of my house. I just get the box, boil it, and just eat it like that with no condiments, no nothing, because I didn't have any money to buy anything. So I would just eat my lunch like that. I pick at food here and there, and I go to work, and then I started with the car washing on the weekends, and luckily that was able to really help me get going quickly, you know. And I still had the other job at the telecommunications business, so I would work Monday through Friday there, and then I would work the weekends with the cars. And eventually the car thing just did so well that I was able to leave the telecommunications and just focus on the cars, you know. And
What
then
cars did you start with?
with what?
What cars? I mean,
Oh,
where
they
was
had everything. The company that I was working for,
yeah.
so they had everything from like Cadillacs to Mercedes, BMWs. They had everything luxury. It was like all luxury stuff. So from there, I also got into the yacht charters because people want to rent cars, they want to rent yachts. So I grew the business from there, and again, I was the gym thing was working. I did the nail salons. So I just
Did you
as opportunities
own? Did you have a partnership in the car rental thing?
at the beginning, nothing. Now I own one myself. I own my own company now.
Okay.
But at the beginning, no, it was just car wash free.
Okay.
Car wash. I
Wow.
go there, wash the cars for free, and if business came in, then I would get paid, but only if I produce something. If I was able to grow the business, which I was able to do because I had a lot of experience from the corporate world. So I knew how to run a business, and I knew how to talk to people, and I knew how to do sales. So it just kind of went hand in hand. And back in those days, the internet was just coming out, and at the telecommunications company that I worked at, they had like a tech side. So it was like a cable. One side was the cabling, and one side was the tech side. They were two separate companies, but they worked together because computer guys need the cable guys. So and I learned a lot about the internet there. So I was able to bring that to the car rental and help bring in more business through the websites and traffic and stuff like that. So things just kind of lined up that way, where it all just worked out.
Yeah,
and not always works out. Sometimes things don't go well, like the gym thing that really didn't pan out, the nail salons didn't pan out, but they were experiences, and I hold them as very, very valuable experiences, And now I started the nutrition company with my partner, where we have the supplements, which is my main focus right now, because we really, really have high quality products. Like all our products, I'm gonna get you some. Send me
Awesome.
your address and I'm gonna ship you some. So
Sure.
we high quality pre-workouts, vitamins, the whey protein, everything. I take it. I take all the products every single day. Fat burner. We have an energy drink that just dropped right now. That's really good. That's just like for on the go, you know, like a Red Bull, just on the go, and it tastes delicious. The products again are high quality. You know, and the difference between us and other companies is that they may have the same ingredients and the same stuff in their products, but they may not have the right dosage.
Sure.
We put the correct dosage. You know, my partner is a beast, and he really, really knows what he's doing when it comes to nutrition and exercise. I don't know if you ever see, I post him all the time. Bezo Fitness, you should follow him. He's the guy's like, he doesn't just do things just to do them. Everything he does is there's a reason. You know, there's
That's
a reason
amazing.
why he's doing the training he does. There's a reason why the products have what they have in them. And I always tell people, get the product, Google the ingredients so you can see. And when people look at them, they always come back and they're like, "Oh wow, my trainer said that this was really good." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "Yeah, the ingredients are top notch. You know, we don't cut any expense there. You know, I don't have like big influencers pushing my products. My thing's more let the product speak for itself."
Word of mouth. So going back 1 second, so the car wash thing took off to a car rental. You own one right now. Then you had the gym, Legacy Gym. You were a part of that. You're part owner, and I guess you sold your shares and got out of that.
Back to the company, yeah.
Awesome, good stuff. And I saw in social media years ago, you opened 4 or 5 years ago a nail salon with another influencer. She's mentioned no names, but she's pretty big in the media in South Florida. Tell me about that. I was all over the news. I remember. I think Alex Monopoly did your.
Yeah, like Monopoly did it. I think it's still there.
Yeah,
and they have a nail salon there now.
okay.
It was a great experience. Like she was great. You know, she had a lot of good contacts. She shared all her contacts with me. They were very nice people. Like I met a lot of great people through her. She knows a lot of good people that I'm still kind of friends with today in terms of I follow them on the gram still and we say hello, you know. But yeah, it was a great experience, and the nail salon could have probably worked out, but I think there was a couple things going against us that at the time I didn't see coming, like workers, you know. I thought there would be a lot more nail techs available for something like that, especially with the way that we were paying them. We were paying them really, really good, but because the area was Wynwood, there really wasn't, you know, they always had problems with transportation because most of those techs don't live in that area. So when it came down to getting to work was always a problem, you know, so filling up the schedule was always a headache. So that's kind of like what happened with that, you know. And then if you don't have the workers, then you really don't have anything. So what that taught me, and I learned from that was a great, and I tell everybody, I tell people, do not get into anything that you can't do yourself. You know, if you can't sit, because if I would have been able to do the nails, we would have been great.
Problem solved.
I was there and I was ready. I was active. I could have banged people out, you know, but I don't do nails. You know, I don't know how to do them. I don't know what the products are. I don't know anything about them, you know? So I wasn't able to sit there and do it. And she didn't do nails either. So she didn't do nails and she's the boss. I didn't do nails and I'm the boss. And then we're depending on these workers to come in here and do the job. But if they don't feel like showing up, then the one who screwed was me, you know?
That's an amazing.
I don't get into anything where I can't control it myself. So now everything that I do, I got into the gym because if I had to sit there and sell membership, I could do that. You know, I could sell franchises. I'm not dependent on anybody doing it. The supplements, I can sell that. You know, I'm not dependent on anybody for that.
That's a really good lesson that my viewers, listeners here watching and listening to us. What Jay said is super, super powerful. Like, Jay, you had people coming in for business, right? The customers coming in. The salon was beautiful. Yeah. I used to follow you guys on social media.
Yeah,
I mean, it was beautiful, right? And then the customer was not your problem. Your problem was the human resources.
Yeah, the people.
Right.
And I had to adapt in that business too. I even closed and revamped and reopened with a new partner. you know, who was actually someone that did the services, but she didn't have the drive. You know, she didn't want to do it. I needed her there more, and she wanted to do other things, and we ended up losing it. You know,
That's insane.
and when that happened, I was just like, you know what, I'm done, because I got to keep depending on people. This is just waste of money. I'm not gonna do this. You know, she would have been serious and done what she was doing, because we were trending up, because she was able to do all the services, and she had friends, and she would bring them in and they would work. So it was like, it was going great. I was really happy. And then when she didn't show up to work one weekend because she had to go on a trip, and then her flight got delayed, and then those 4 or 5 days just put us right back in the hole. Nobody showed up to work. Nobody. I just sat there by myself the whole weekend. And I was just like, I'm done. After that weekend, I was like, I'm finding a way out of this, and I'm out. And that's what I did. I found a way, and I got out.
So Jay, you were talking about how the nail salon, situation. The person you were dating, did the relationship be affected because the business went down, or?
Yeah, that was also another learning lesson. I'll probably never do that again and get involved with somebody and do a business with them, because that's when the relationship went sour. You know, it was great until that point. So I think I do know a few entrepreneurs that are in relationships, and they have businesses together that I've met throughout the years that are doing very, very well. But it seems like they all had a lot of really good chemistry always from the jump, you know. And the last couple that I met, they had a very strict guidelines on talking about work at home. So she said that she was telling me that they have a strict rule: when they get home, they do not talk about business for nothing. And she says it's hard for her because she's very creative, so she always has things in her mind, but she knows that she can't talk about it because her husband, he won't let her. You know, he doesn't want to hear it until the next day when they get to work. You know, and she says that works out great for them, and they have a nice little business. So I think that it can work, but for me, I'd rather just keep the two things separate. I think moving forward.
Well, I think your situation too. Like, for example, me and my wife we're opening a business right now. We're partners, but we've been married for a while. I think you guys dated, and then the business came. I think if you guys had a history, 10 years, 5, whatever the time was, right? I mean, it was shorter than that. It was like, what, a year or two, maybe?
Yeah, like a year at the most. You know. There was so much there, and again, the business was gonna fail regardless because of the workers, which was something that we didn't see for coming. We thought workers were gonna be easy to get because we had people lined up, but they quit, they don't show up, they don't want to come, and then all of a sudden now you're in a situation where you got the bills are coming every month, and you got to have the people to produce, and if they're not producing, then it's just, and it wasn't my thing. I'm not a nail tech, so you don't have that passion, like, oh my God, I have this passion, I have this nail salon. I really didn't care much for it. If the business would have worked, I would have loved it, because I like making money and I like working. But if it was going to be a nightmare like it was just doomed to fail from the jump.
You live in Miami right now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Miami life. I'm Brooklyn to Miami, lived in Miami for 20 years, now moved to Orlando. I have back and forth. I have a house in South Florida in Broward County, here in Orlando. I remember my time in Miami before marriage. It was a party. I partied so much, right? You're a single guy right now, I'm assuming?
Yeah, single.
Like, how do you do that, man? You work out, you're in amazing shape, you're an entrepreneur, you have a son, you have life. How do you stay focused living in Miami, beautiful women all over, the music, the scene, the everything? How do you
the gym.
The gym. Keep you straight.
I keep it straight. I do the same thing. My routine doesn't
change.
Fluctuate. It is the same I eat the same food every day. I have the same workout at the same time, every same day. And once I'm done with that, I'm done. I've already had a day, and I feel like people go out because they don't have much going on during the day. So they feel like they need to go out. That's what I think, so I do enough during the day. So I really don't have like an urge to go here and go there. Plus, I already know from my mistakes that I've made in the past with the partying and stuff too, because everybody gets caught up in that at some point. I think, it's not healthy. It's not good. It's too, you want to be successful and then you want to party. You can't do both. It's one or the other. So you just got to stay on the road that makes you happier, and just kind of keep your blinders on. I have good people around me. you know, good dudes around me that are very smart, and they poof, man, I have one friend that he doesn't go anywhere, nowhere. All he does is work. That is it. So when you have that kind of influence, you know, that kind of helps keep you on a straight path as well, because in the back of your head, you're thinking, my friend's not doing this, you know, so why am I gonna do it? So I think you got to have good people around you. And as I've done a couple of these podcasts already, as I've gotten older and people ask me what I think is, you know, what contributes to success and stuff like that, my views have adapted and have changed recently. And now I think it's all about who you know. That's really the key to any successful business or career or relationship. It's the people in your life. That's what makes the difference.
So let's unpack that for a second. They say, I think I don't know if Tony Robbins said it or someone else said it, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Right? I remember my mentor told me, listen, if you hang out with painters, you get paint on you. You know what I mean? It's a good analogy. So I agree with you on that, right? So now, to your point, that's one part of it, right? People surround you is good, but the other part is saying to be successful. What do you mean? You're saying that people should have networking and connection with people?
I think that you know, because a good example that I say when I talk about that is I say LeBron James' agent was his best friend in high school. Right? It's something story like that. I don't know too much about the guys, but I know it's something like that. Like they were friends from high school, and he's became LeBron's agent, and the guy's a multimillionaire. Why? He didn't work his way up the ladder. He was just friends with LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? So that was his key to success, and nothing else mattered. You know, nothing else mattered. It doesn't matter. I don't know what time that guy wakes up in the morning. Probably nobody knows. Nobody cares. It doesn't make a difference. The fact that he's best friends with LeBron and he's his agent, he's a multimillionaire, successful agent in the NBA strictly from that relationship. So if you have a LeBron James in your life, you know, you're 10 steps ahead. And we all don't have LeBron James, obviously. So we gotta stay close to the LeBron Jameses of our lives.
Of our time, of our story.
Yeah,
They opened a company recently. They a media company.
A ton of stuff. They got pizza, the shoes, apparel. I mean, these guys got they got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
but he got it from being best friends with LeBron. He wasn't born in another city and found a way to get close to LeBron. No, they were by birth. You know.
Yeah. But the best friend had to bet on his friend. He had to take the chance on his best friend to become
of course. No,
and it paid off.
They had that plan, and I'm sure the guy's sharp, and they're like I said, they're boys, and I feel like LeBron has definitely changed the game, you know, in a lot of ways, especially with as much control as he had over the teams that he was on and everything because of how good he was, you know. So they had a lot of good opportunities, but it happened because they knew each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it didn't happen because he worked his way up. Because I would, you know, you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you gotta, you know, you work hard and blah blah blah." You can work your ass off.
Yeah.
And nothing happens. You know, if you don't know the right people. But if you know the right people, things can take off
faster. Going back to relationships. So you were dating a person who was very high profile in South Florida. Tell me, like, what's the idea? Like, people go for looks, right? People go for networking, right? I mean, tell me your experience. Was it positive in the end? Looking back, like, you know, I'm sure you guys broke up, but like you say, wait a minute, you know, KB, I did learn a lot. I did get this. I got this. Like, you know what? No, man, you know what, KB, I would recommend people to say, yo, don't go with someone who's that high profile. Go for someone who's a little bit lower. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's funny because I actually did research on that when I was dating her, you know, like how do like famous people do it? Like first I wanted to find out who is famous and dating or married a non-famous person. And there was a lot of celebrities out there.
Matt Damon's wife, yeah.
Yeah, a lot. There was a big list of people that are famous and their spouses are not. So what they said in why those relationships are successful is because the spouse knows their role. You know, they know that they're not in the spotlight, and most of them prefer that. You know, they don't want their spouse to be like in the paparazzi and all that crap. You know, they don't want that. And then the spouse understands that when they go places, whether it's a man or woman, either one, because there's men that are married to famous women that are not famous, and they're not gonna, when they walk the red carpet, they don't want pictures of that dude. They want pictures of their girl, and the guy got to know he's got to step out the way, you know. So but you know your role, you know, and then there's a very high level of respect between those. So I had a very high level of respect. I never wanted to be famous. I don't care for that. Never, you know, even my social media and stuff, I rarely post things that are not work related, you know. So I was okay with it. For me, it doesn't bother me, you know. Didn't bother me. She worked with guys or was famous and they had to do celebrity things and stuff like that. That never bothered me at all. I always supported her, you know. And then it said that when I did the research, it said that the people that do have like an ego, you know, it doesn't work out, because the ego starts to get in the way and they don't like being the, you know, on the side, you know, they don't like it. So then they have problems. So in order for it to work, you have to be humble. You have to know your role. You know, you're not the celebrity, they are, you know, and let them do their thing. And nothing else matters, because when you go home, it's normal, you know. And that's how it was. So for me, it was good. I try to never come out of any situation with negative feelings, you know. I always try to learn from them and be better. And again, like the nail salon was a great experience, and so it was. You know, I look back and I say, okay, I had these great experiences, even if they weren't successful on paper. There was no money.
Experience.
For good experience, and you know, I'm a very happy person. I'm already happy as it is, you know. So being in a relationship with somebody or having a successful business, that doesn't determine my mood, you know. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna just keep working out. You know, stay positive, stay in the routine, you know, and just push ahead, you know, every day, adapt to the environment, you know. I'm sure you know now that things are changing out there, you know, it's not the same.
You guys still talk? Can you connect us? No,
we don't talk anymore now. We just, I don't even know what she's up to. After the nail salon thing was I think such a bad experience for her. It just turned her off like completely. She didn't want nothing to do with the business, and because it was bad. It was bad, you know. From day one, we didn't even get to open the doors on the right foot. Like, it was just the manager quit the first day. The girl who was gonna manage the place quit the first day. So going into it, we were already short our staff. That manager was supposed to bring the techs and was supposed to have the people, and she quit. So we kind of had to start, you know, figuring it out. And the clock is ticking. You know, the bills are coming, and you can't wait. The money needs to come in, and it never did. You know, so it was just rough, you know. That's why, you know, with you and your wife and you guys doing a business together, like you say, you have a good foundation together, you know. Because I won't say that I would never support my spouse in a business, because I can't. I'm not wired like that. So if I had a spouse and she had a business, I would support her and help her push it forward. I would try not to get hands-on like I did with the salons. I was never supposed to be hands-on with the salon. I was just kind of like motivational support, you know. And then when she left, I became hands-on, you know, and I wasn't expecting that. That's not what I was signing up for, you know. So it was rough, you know. It was something, again, I don't know anything about nails or this or that. So I was in there like, oh, these girls are like looking at me, asking me questions, and I'm like,
what do I do? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And they luckily, you know, they helped out a lot. They were good. They were there. They tried their best. But, you know, business is not easy.
It's not easy.
You're losing money and you're not happy, you know, it's just better to just, you know, cut your losses. You know, sometimes it's okay to say, hey, it didn't work.
It's okay. In relationships too, right? I mean, relationships too, I'm sure, you know, and then look, I'm sure she's happy and you're happy, you're doing a good thing. Moving to the next topic. So now, so so you said you marketing and sales. That's your forte.
Yes.
You have an agency that helps other companies with marketing.
Yeah, my company, people contact me directly, or I get involved with them directly. So it's pretty much word of mouth. I'm not out there advertising it, because when I get involved, I get very hands-on with the business. So I can't take on a lot of projects at once. So right now I'm really focused on the supplement line, because that's a big project. It's been years in the making, and adapting as well. It wasn't supplements when we started. It was something else. It turned into supplements, you know. That's where it's navigated towards, and now we have a supplement line. But 12 years, you know, the Bib Nutrition has been
12 years.
12 years. It started with at 99centdiet.com. That was where we first started. So we started a nutritional website, but back then, like I was telling you, the internet was just coming on, so the technology really wasn't there, and that didn't pan out, you know. So and then we were gonna do fitness equipment. It was a lot of different things over the years, and then I think during the pandemic is when we decided to go with the supplements, you know, the pre-workout, because we believe you really just need something to help get you going.
That's it.
You know, that's it. You just if you eat right and you work out. The only thing that you could really add to that is something to get you going. So coffee was always a big thing for us. So we were gonna do a coffee line, but that didn't work out. So it was just gonna be. The orders for the coffees were just too big, and we had no customers. So what were we gonna do with all this coffee? So then we went to we just put the caffeine in the pre-workout, added some other ingredients to it, and then that's what we said. But that's what we live off of that stuff. Like we take the pre-workout every day, because it gets you going, it gets your focus, and the results come from that, you know, because most people have a problem just going to the gym, you know, just getting up and going. Oh, I'm tired today, I don't want to go, it's rainy. Excuses. The bib cancels all the excuses, because once you take that, you gotta go. There's no
you can't sit back. You can't watch TV.
You gotta go. Yeah,
and watch
so
TV.
that you going. You take that, you go, and you know you gotta work out. You know, now you ain't sleeping.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's how we got into that.
Are you guys doing good revenue wise?
The product line for supplements is a big market. You know, there's a lot of competition out there. So right now, I don't rate it by is it doing good with sales. I kind of rate it more by the brand. If people recognize the brand and they know the brand, that's kind of how I measure the success. So we're just out there right now, just selling to our word of mouth, our clients, through Instagram, through Amazon, and just letting it kind of just build up slowly. You know, the good thing is it's not the only business that I have. So I'm not like all hands in on that where, if the supplements don't do well, it's kind of like a side project that I have.
Let it grow. Let it
grow by itself organically, and just try not to go crazy with the money, because it's expensive to promote products like that. And it takes a lot of time. So right now, just kind of branding is really where it is, because I have an end game, so selling a few thousand products a month is not really what I want to do. I want it to go national, and I want it to be a big thing, but in order to get there, it's going to take some time. So just right now, branding, so people know, oh, bib. Oh, okay, great. I got a camera here. Look.
Beautiful.
I have it on my desk.
That's awesome.
When I'm getting ready to go to the gym, boom, I pop it in, and I'm gone. And I'm on the way. Yeah, bib, and that gets you going.
How about the car rental? If that's your money maker for you?
Yeah, the car rental is like a daily business. It's okay. COVID was great. Things have slowed down a little bit right now. The yachts are another major part of what I do. The yacht charters, I do a lot of those. Those go really well. A lot of people want to go on the boat. I highly recommend it when people come into town. It's a nice thing to do. You're in control of your environment. The crews are always very professional and attentive. So it's a nice experience. So I always recommend that, when people come into Miami, like that's something you got to do, if you're going to be here, do it right, and we have boats that range from $1,000 and up. So anybody can get on one and enjoy the day, it's worth it.
That's awesome, man. So the supplement line is growing, the car rental business is doing okay, and the yachts is doing good. So 3 businesses you're juggling right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
3, let's see what else. We do private aviation charters as well. We work with a company that we do private jet charters too.
Like a broker?
Broker? Like a broker, yeah. Yeah, they're a brokerage based out of New York. We do some charters for jets. So not a lot. It used to be a lot more in demand, but now not that much. And I try to steer my clients away from it if they don't really need it. The private jet is expensive.
Sure.
Always tell people, if you're gonna fly private, it's because you really need to be somewhere.
Sure.
It's because you got it. Because if not, just fly commercial. It's so expensive. It's crazy. The prices are out of control. Like just to take a private flight is not worth it. I don't think.
Yeah.
So I would steer people kind of away from that. Only if you gotta be somewhere. Like you cannot risk being that you're an artist and you gotta go from one show to the next. You gotta fly private, because you can't run the risk of the flight being delayed or something like that. So private's the way to go.
Yeah.
But if you're a regular person, you're just going on a vacation, then just fly commercial.
Get first class, maybe.
Yeah, first class.
Interesting. Awesome. So Jay, before we wrap up, what's your daily routine? So can you share your routine with my listeners, my viewers that, some people say they get up 5 and they do a journal, they do gratitude, they do visualization, law of attraction. What's your story? What do you do?
Get up in the morning every day. I walk the
Same
dog.
time? Same time?
Uh,
Same time every morning?
8 a.m. every morning. I'm up. 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'm up. I walk my dogs right away and just take like 15, 20 minutes to myself to just kind of like get the blood flowing, think. I don't have the phone on me. I don't use the phone. I don't touch the phone for at least like 30, 45 minutes after I wake up before I actually let's start to, because I kind of like just to like peacefully go into my day, get my coffee, watch the news, and then I head out to the office. I get the work done that needs to be done in the office, and then from there I'll head to the gym, and then from the gym I'll go home and start my day over again. And it's that same routine every single day. It's wake up, walk the dogs. I go home, I walk the dogs, and that's a little bit of like me time there. And I go to the office and I go to the gym, and it's the same thing every day. I don't deviate from that. I don't even make plans or meetings on the days that I'm going to train, so that I don't have things. Wednesday I don't work out, so Wednesday's the day where I'll take I'll take appointments and do stuff like that, because I don't have any training, but so I can stay focused on the training. Because the minute you start doing all these things, then I missed the gym, I didn't make it, so I just stay focused on the office, on the work, the hours in the morning to the afternoon. Then I head to the gym, and I just follow that routine every single day. It's the same thing. I don't deviate from it. Once I'm home, I'm home.
It's like Mark Wahlberg, same thing. He has a routine he follows every single day, right? Morning to
That
night.
routine is crazy. I don't know. I read that routine, and some things didn't make sense. He has a golf time in there,
Yes.
right? And the golf for 15 minutes. Who plays golf for 15 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
What golf is he doing? So I don't know. I think he just put that out there. I don't think he really
Probably. Do you go to clubs at all?
Huh?
At clubs at all? Do you go to clubs?
Not really. Like nighttime stuff is a problem, because when the business is every day, work is every day. So when you go out late at night, then to wake up in the morning is a problem, and then you're dragging ass all day. And so for me, I probably just do stuff during the day, and that's it. And just my work has me very social because of the business. So I don't feel like I have this need like to go out and have fun. Every once in a while, yeah, cool, whatever. Maybe go
Like
out
a restaurant, maybe like Grubman is a good restaurant, right?
Yeah. So go eat, stuff like that. But I try to be home no later than like 12 o'clock. Like 12 o'clock is like the latest I like to be out. And then I just kind of just travel. If anything, I always recommend to people travel. Save your money, travel, and you'll really get some good experiences out there, because here everything is so expensive.
Yes.
We're not tourists.
Yeah.
So, if you live here and you're going to be partying like that all the time, you're not going to have any money.
It'll catch up fast.
Yeah, catches up super. I've seen it. I've seen guys go through the ringer, rich dudes, come and party their ass off and then leave broke, homeless almost. So the nightlife here can get you.
It gets you. That's what Miami sells, right? Between the Ferraris and Lambos, right, and then the beautiful girls all over, and David Grubman's restaurant or Live, and bottle service. You know that.
I gotta service those people, so I gotta make sure I get my sleep, because they want their stuff done. So I can't be out partying like them. I gotta be up in the morning to make sure that whatever orders are in for the next day, they get done, they get taken care of, and I'll just take my little trips here and there and relax away from here.
And I'm sure you got it out of your system too, right? I mean, yeah.
It's always there.
Yeah.
It's always there. So it's not something that is like, hey, let's go. It's always there. There's always something going on in Miami. There's always a party. There's always this. There's always that. So it's just it's more about like limiting, the amount you do, so it's not too much, because it's pesado here, the La Rumba's hardcore, so I try to just stay at the gym as much as possible and just hang out, and I go into the movies and stuff. You're married, so you know how that is. You see your wife, you do your things with your wife, and then chill. And I'm sure that's helped lead to a lot of success that you've had.
Yeah,
I feel like having a good partner in life, it's huge.
It's everything.
I think it is. I really do. That's why I'm single. I try to wait to make sure if I do make a commitment, I make it to the right person, and then build together. I want to have a successful story like yours, where I have a wife, and and we support each other's goals.
Sure.
But that's not easy to find.
Yeah, that's
Easy to
interesting.
find. And when you're working hard, sometimes people don't understand how much work you got to put in to make something work, and then people need attention, and you may not have all the attention to give them. So you got to have the right partner, someone that understands.
Jay, where can we find you, man?
J_Cuza on Instagram. J_Cuza.
And your businesses, do they have the pages too?
They do. There's links on my Instagram. You can find them.
I'm gonna post it on my description here. Jay, thank you so much for doing this, my friend. You're like I said, I look up to you, bro. I'm in Miami quite a bit.
I'm happy to see you. The podcast is nice.
Thank you,
congratulations with the wife and the marriage. You have any kids?
Yeah, 2 kids, 6 and 5. 2 girls.
You're good, man. You're good. See, that's success right there, bro.
Thank you, brother.
That's success. Having a family, having the kids. The best asset you could have are the people around you. Your wife, your kids. You can't buy that.
Sure.
So no matter how many billions of dollars somebody has, if they don't have kids and they don't have people to follow them, what good is the money?
That's true.
I can't say someone's a billionaire, they're successful. No. If I see a family, I see kids, I see a business, I see smiles.
Yeah.
That to me is successful. That's what I look at for success. So I think you got it all right there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, man. God bless you. When I'm in town next time, I'll hit you up. We'll do dinner, man.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Jay. We'll be in touch.